After a nice savory meal, we might crave something sweet. So I'm gonna follow up what Helen said, and I'm gonna recommend you a recipe that's going to satisfy that sweet craving, but also give you the macronutrients, the protein, carbs, and fat. And this is mainly a recipe that is specifically for people that do have a texture restriction. I remember the first day when I first got my back molars removed and I had this intense craving for chocolate. I wanted chocolate bars, but I couldn't have any because I couldn't physically bite down, and these areas were just so sensitive that anything I put just hurt in my mouth. So I remember I had a lot of chocolate ice cream. It got to the point that I had so much chocolate ice cream that I got super tired of it. And if I were to go back in time, I would most likely introduce this recipe that I'm going to show you right now to myself back in time. So the recipe I'm going to show you is using avocado, and it is chocolate mousse. It is not your traditional chocolate mousse that uses heavy cream, but it uses this star ingredient right over here. This recipe uses avocado, and who doesn't like avocado? Avocado is used in toast, it's in tacos, and it's also used in the scissor. Even for anybody that doesn't like the taste of avocado, you actually don't taste it in this recipe. You're mainly using avocado for the creamy texture and also the health benefits that it provides. And also when you add the cocoa powder and a little bit of sugar, it actually gives you this really rich and decadent flavor. So before we begin, we actually have to wash our hands. I know Helen already did, but now I'm gonna wash my hands. Okay, so let's run through all the ingredients we need in order to make this chocolate mousse. So we're gonna start off with 2 ripe avocados. And the reason why we want 2 ripe ones, I'm gonna emphasize ripe, is for that creamy texture. So how do we know if they're ripe or not? Basically, you just squeeze, and if they're soft to the touch, they're ready to go. But if they're hard and firm, don't use them. All you could really do is wait a couple days. Or you could actually, like that right over here, you take your avocados, you place them in a paper bag with a ripe banana. The ripe banana is going to release off ethylene gas, and that is what's going to help with the ripening process. Another reason why we're using avocados, in addition to the creamy texture, is the fact that it does contain a lot of healthy fat. So the healthy fats that we're looking at is specifically oleic acid. The reason why I want oleic acid, because it has a lot of health benefits, specifically one that can also reduce inflammation. So next up we need is 1/3 cup of cocoa powder. To that, I'm gonna add 1/2 cup of cashew milk. Feel free to use any milk you like. I'm using cashew milk because that's what I have on hand, and I am slightly lactose. There's also almond milk you could use, soy milk, or just regular cow's milk, but don't feel restricted to use cow's milk. I also have 2 tablespoons of honey. Feel free to use any sweetener you like. Maple syrup works, or just regular table sugar works as well. If you do have vanilla extract, feel free to use that too. It's really going to enhance the flavor. You just need 2 teaspoons of that. So the really nice thing about this recipe is that if you have a food processor, you can just dump all the ingredients inside and just turn it on, and you're pretty much ready to go. I don't have a food processor with me, so I'm going to use a hand mixer instead. This just tells you that you don't have to listen to everything a recipe says. You're not confined to everything on a recipe. You could just make adjustments according to what you have at home. So I'm going to start off by taking my 2 avocados, and I'm going to cut them in half. Let's do that. So just go along the edges, like so. And then we're just going to twist. So I'm going to show you a really easy way to remove the pits. So all you have to do is take your knife and strike the avocado. Next thing you're going to do is that you're going to twist the knife and avocado in opposite directions, and then lift. And that's a really easy way to remove the pits. So now I'm going to do the same thing with the other one. We have avocados. I'm just going to scoop them into my bowl, or if you have a food processor, just scoop them into your food processor. I'm just going to take out the flesh. Okay. Now if you use really soft avocados, then this should be no problem. This is the reason why you don't want to use firm avocados, because it's going to be very difficult for you to remove the flesh out. Okay, avocado. To that, we're going to add the rest of our ingredients. So this is your, I think it was 1/3. How much cocoa powder is this? Yeah, this was 1/3 cup of cocoa powder. We're just going to add that inside. We're going to add our milk, 1/2 cup of milk. And to that, we're going to add our 2 tablespoons of honey, which is a little bit difficult to get out, but you just get a spoon and put it in there. Okay, and now if you did use a food processor, just turn it on and blend away, but I don't have that, so I'm going to use my hand mixer. Okay, and this is what the finished chocolate pudding should look like. Just Do it until all the chunks are blended away and it's nice and consistent. Unless you like the chunks, then you can just leave a little bit of that out there. So with this, you can now put it in the refrigerator to chill it and then have it in a couple hours when it's nice and cold. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how to dress up my chocolate pudding. So let's start by scooping some chocolate pudding inside a really nice bowl or cup or anything you want to serve in. You know, add some like so. I'm gonna just add the whole thing. Okay. Okay, so to do that, I'm gonna add a bit of coconut flakes. Feel free to add some nuts, or for people that do have a texture restriction, don't add nuts. You can add some raspberries, strawberries, a mint, that will look really nice. On top of that, I'm just gonna grate a little bit of chocolate onto the top to the surface. And then to that, I'm gonna add a sprinkle of sea salt. I think sea salt just really lifts up the chocolate and enhances the flavor. And that's the finished results. If you're craving something sweet and you still want those macronutrients, definitely try out this recipe. It's super sweet. It's gonna hit every sweet tooth that you ever had. It's delicious. So thank you for joining me in my cooking show. Stay tuned until next week until we have another recipe to show you guys.